Welcome to eVision Live number 3 on the topic The Power of Vision 3 with Dr. Alexandra Kleeberg and Dietrich Busacker.
Welcome to your happy, healthy, fulfilled and visionary life.
Thank you for watching us again, and thank you so much for all the encouragements and comments you left after our last broadcast. Also today we'll be very happy if you just leave your comments below, your encouragements, your ideas, the takeaways from this broadcast. We will be talking today about the power of vision and a little bit of myself. I have been working in development cooperation for over 30 years with advising projects in all over the world in education, sustainable development and good governance. But 2 years ago I had a vision and we created the company eVision together with my wonderful partner Alexandra. And yes, this is a little bit, we have been talking about visions. And during the last sessions, maybe Alexandra, you introduce yourself also a little bit.
Yes, my name is Alexandra. I'm a clinical psychologist, behavior therapist, psychodrama therapist, psychoanalyst, a Jungian psychoanalyst, and I've collected self-healing stories, images and exercises from all over the world and throughout time, and I'm teaching that in groups so people learn how to heal themselves. That's my vision, that's my mission, that people learn it best at a very early age, so a lot of sicknesses that don't have to come at all. And I've written 7 books about self-healing, 2 children's books to teach it to children at a very early age. And I really love to be here and spread this message because I think it's lighter, it's easier, it makes us proud as a human nation if everybody would know how to self-heal.
I'm always so impressed when you say all your experience you have gained, but I've seen how it works. I've seen people from your groups really how they heal themselves from almost any kind of dis-ease. And so it's really my vision to bring this out into the world and to be together. We are, therefore, one of the reasons is we are having this broadcast of eVision Live.
And I like the word dis-ease, what you said,
yes,
because it means we are out of ease. And my vision is if everybody would know how to self-heal and to develop the potential, we would come in a vibration of ease or in a mindset of ease, and that I would like very much.
Yes. So during the last 2 broadcasts we have been discussing already the question of vision and how to come from vicious to vision. What is the difference and what factors hinder us also to come to our vision. And also we have been discussing the point of that the vision can be really something like a magnet that attracts you and eases you, really gives you energy to create and put into the world what your vision is.
Yes, I think it should be 2 magnets. One magnet is the vision and the other is the longing from your heart.
Mm-hmm. And
to put these 2 together is even more powerful than just to have a vision.
So we've been discussing, and sometimes we have the impression it's so easy. But why?
It's easy.
Yes, but why doesn't everybody has a vision? Why are so many people stuck in their mindset of victimhood? What is hindering us?
We discussed that in the power of vision number 2, that a lot comes from how we have been brought up from over centuries or even thousands of years in a mindset of victimhood, and visions weren't anything for normal people. And when I talk to about visions in my group, some people say, oh, vision, that's for extraordinary people. Can you break it a little down? And so we start with wishes, right? And even if you have a vision and you have this longing, there might be a lot of things that get into the way. It's not a straight way from your longing to your vision. You have to overcome a lot of obstacles and blockades, and most of them are rooted in what we call self-destructive beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's not only self-destructive beliefs, we have created self-destructive belief systems, and I think all over the world, which hold us in victimhood, because I told about that in the last video, that it wasn't intended to have people who have visions and who have self-esteem and who are creative. It was intended to have people who you can guide in a way where you wanted them to be. So right now we are at a gate of time that shows that more is possible. I think every human being is able to follow a vision and to have a vision and to have a longing in the heart. I think everybody has that, but we haven't learned how to handle that. And how can we transform? I think a wish becomes a vision once it has a transformative energy. A wish might just be fulfilled, like a wish for ice cream. It doesn't really transform you. It feels good, but it doesn't transform you. A vision has the power to transform your own life and the life of other people. And maybe you would like to tell about the butterfly.
No, I don't want to talk about the butterfly now. I want first of all to ask you to put down your questions, your comments below. We asked you last time at the end of our last broadcast to think about what are your blockades, what are your hindering beliefs, your destructive beliefs that hinder you to come to your vision. And maybe you are willing, open to share them with the other listeners, and you also can get into contact by commenting each other's comments, and exchanging within the followers of this broadcast. So please don't hesitate to write them down. And
I think that's a good idea, because I think when I work, one of the most difficult things is to get something conscious which is unconscious. Right? Because it's unconscious, you don't know about it. And a way to discover your unconscious is by feedback. Yes, either it's the feedback from the body, which says, no, this doesn't work, or it's the feedback from outside. So we really appreciate it if you write down your blockades and obstacles and inner belief systems that might say, oh, this doesn't work, you're too old, you're too young, you're a woman, you're a man, or whatever.
I'm not enough.
I'm not enough. So people get ideas what blockades are or what obstacles are, because they're unconscious. That's why we can't go further on, because we don't know about it. So thank you for putting that in.
Yes. Well, talking about vision, it's, I think, also what is necessary, we already addressed this before, is that you change. Sometimes you have to transform. Yes. You have to transform yourself. You have to change. You have to overcome these obstacles. And sometimes it can be even hurtful. It can be difficult. So when we were creating a vision, we were thinking about what could be an appropriate logo for us. So we created the spiral.
Which is also element. The E of the E-vision.
There's the E at the same time. And then from the spiral, we have the butterfly, and the butterfly gets the power from the spiral and the spin-off to take off. And the butterfly is a symbol actually for transformation.
No, it's not a symbol. It's really transformation.
It is really
transformation. I think it's the most radical transformation which we can see in biology, which is maybe outside the womb.
Yeah.
In the womb, there is a lot of translation. You come from an egg and you... What did I say?
Translation.
Yes. You come from an egg and you turn out to be human with arms and legs and so forth. So it's the most radical transformation in the biology outside.
Yeah, because it's also you have the transformation. Also, the caterpillar is deriving from an egg, but the transformation from a caterpillar to the butterfly, which is this amazing transformation, this amazing change in nature.
Yes, and let me tell you about that. Maybe you know it. How the transformation takes place in the butterfly. It's a good story for our inside processes of transformation and also of our outside processes of transformation. It starts from the egg, and from the egg there's a caterpillar, and the caterpillar eats and eats and eats and eats and eats and eats and renews itself and eats and breaks the shell and eats and eats and eats and eats and breaks the coat, or however you call it in English, and it eats and it's getting thicker and the skin will get too tight and it breaks it off. And it does it quite sometimes, and after the last process it rolls himself into a puppet. I think it's called a puppet in English, and withdraws. And I think it's an analogy for our Western society. We eat and eat and eat. We want to have and have and have, and we actually have everything, and we eat even more.
Yes, and by eating, the butterfly is destroying, the caterpillar is destroying actually the environment. It's eating up its environment. So if there would be too many, there are no leaves anymore on the plant, and the caterpillar might even die because it doesn't have enough food anymore. So and this is a little bit
it's the analogy for that. And I think it's not just eating physically into our mouths, it's just wanting to have everything, although we are already thick enough. I don't mean it in a bodily sense only. And we destroy our environment by that. So this is one part of the story, and then the caterpillar withdraws,
splits up in the puppet,
inner process in the puppet. And I think this is very, very important to stop that and to withdraw. It's for self-healing, even for potential development. It's good to stop maybe every hour for 5 minutes, or every day for an hour. Meditation does it that way, to withdraw from this feeding us with things we don't need, and stop and just look inside what's happening there. And the transformational process happens inside, not outside, with a butterfly or with a caterpillar puppet butterfly. And what happens there is that there is this old eating system which doesn't have anything else to eat anymore, and it sort of starts eating up themselves. That's what biologists say, as I understood it. And there are some cells which they called imago cells 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Imago, reminds me of imagination.
Yes,
Has it something to do with it?
Yes, imago comes from Latin and it means picture, image. And they even call it imaginary cells. It's another word for them. And those cells have the image, the vision of the butterfly. And the old system sort of has the image of the caterpillar. And so the old system starts sort of to eat up itself, and the imago cells, which were there all the time, but which were maybe fed up, I don't know what happened to them, and I don't really know how biologists find that out. I don't know, but that's what I read from a lot of well-known biologists. Bruce Lipton has a video on that. And those imago cells, they become more and more when the old system destroys itself, and it starts to destroy the imaginary cells, and they become more and more, and it starts to destroy it, and they become more and more, and the old system becomes weaker and weaker, and the new cells start to build networks, new networks of the vision or the image of the butterfly. And at one point they are so strong that their information creates the body. And I think a little bit that's the process the Western world is hopefully already in. Some are still eating, and some of us have withdrawn. They do meditation, they do yoga, they do psychotherapy, they do transformational therapy or whatever, or philosophy, and they look for who am I and what do I want to create. And the old system is still very strong. It has materialized the first body, the caterpillar, so it's very strong, and the imaginary cells are getting more and more and more and more, and they fight the old system, they get more and more and more, and so it's for self-healing, this is an inner process, and for transformation, and if we want to transform the world, and that's why we are here, it's very important to network with other imago cells, which might be you, and to connect and see that this new body will be very strong, and this new image, the awakening of mankind, or however you want to call it, will come together and will form itself and then transform the old pattern. So I think this is a very, very interesting process, and on our way to our vision, there are those old systems which strike back and say, no, this doesn't work, and this has never worked. Of course, it didn't work with the caterpillar, it just worked in the puppet. And then when the new cells are really networked and stable, the form of the butterfly comes and it breaks out and flies. And the caterpillar is doing bad things for our environment, and the butterfly, it's sucking the sweet juice, nectar of life, and by doing so it spreads out beauty, it spreads out abundance, it spreads out colors and scents and whatever. So this is sort of the vision of the new world, that while we eat, we at the same time spread out whatever, love, joy, happiness, or whatever. So it becomes a win-win and not an eat.
I always love it how you just make this analogy from the inside, changes, transformation of inside process, biological processes, self-healing inside, and then this social transformation outside, this transformation of the world, that actually the principles of change, of transformation are more or less the same.
Yes, and I think the butterfly gives us an idea of where we can go to or what we are meant for. As a caterpillar you don't see that, but as a butterfly you see beauty all around and lightness and ease. And
but we have these imago cells already inside, if I get it right.
I think everybody has them.
Yeah.
Or everybody can create them.
So that's why everybody can access to their vision, to their imago cells. So everybody, there is nobody by nature excluded.
Yes, and you have to feed them with love, with security and whatever, so they become bigger and bigger and bigger. And if you really like this story, we have a freebie for you. You can download it when you click the link. It's called Radical Transformation, 9 Steps into Ease. And I created a figure, I called her Sophia Monarch. We work with the monarch butterfly.
Yes.
Monarch, I don't know how you... And Sophia means wisdom. And she tells the story of the butterfly with the phases of getting enough to eat, withdrawing and feeling inside and developing inside and transforming, and then the joy of flying. It's a very, very small
It's a
booklet.
small ebook, and you can download
Yes.
it. You find the link down there.
And
You will have to opt in, and you will find in this booklet also with each of the 9 steps. I think of the 9 steps of transformation. I think you have joined small exercises.
yes, that's what I wanted to say.
Yes.
There are exercises, very little exercises for each step. And the vision of the new world, which is ease.
Mhm.
From dis-ease to ease.
Okay.
And you're very welcome to read that and give us the comment. I've already written my first children book on Sophia Monarch, and she is teaching a child how to withdraw, how to contact the potential, how to contact the dreams and the wishes. Actually, children don't have to transform. They are just
They have still
authentic
transformative mind, and
yes, they don't need transformation. They are just what they are. So
but you need to remind them this. And
you need to remind them. You need to feed visions and images and fantasy and emotional authenticity. And it's a read together book for grown-ups and children, and
from 5 to 9 about, and it's called You Are Extraordinary.
exactly.
And
So
it's part of a children book series that you're creating. I'm So Fantastic, it's called.
it's called I Am
in the-
So Fantastic, about the power of fantasy.
And
We will talk about that in
yes,
2 or
this will
3.
another topic
Yes.
for one of these next broadcasts. So you can download it. We will give you the link below in the comment section. And well, to wrap up a little bit, what would the exercise for today you would recommend
The
us?
inspiration would be, again, because they're subconscious, and I will tell you that again and again and again, to get conscious of your unconscious belief systems. And one way to do is to see how your body reacts, and everything where your body says no, it's probably due to an unconscious self-damaging belief. Or you can get aware of it by feedback and just try both kinds. We will have some more videos on how to get conscious on the unconscious. I think it's one of the most difficult processes. So just write down your unconscious beliefs, and if you don't know which one you have, then write down the one from your parents. You probably are aware of that. And write down the unconscious beliefs of the zeitgeist where you were born. And that might give you some clues as well. And the other thing is, always look inside, take a break. We are programmed with these unconscious beliefs, and we automatically do a lot of our work. Our brain loves automatisms, and because it's easy, yes. And please stop those routines, maybe every hour. Just program your mobile phone, or do it once a day. I think better is every hour or 3 or 4 times a day, because routine are very deeply rooted in our brain. So it's really nice to be aware of it. And some program their watch or their mobile phone. I have a client, she is very in the green scene, and she doesn't like a mobile phone, and she doesn't like a smartwatch or whatever. And she put little bells all over, at the door, at the ceiling, at the plants, and when she walked out, and every time she passes by, she has to sort of touch those bells to go through, and every time she does that, the bells ring, bing, 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 and then she calms down and stops and looks inside. How do I feel? What do I want to express? And where's my vision? Where do I want to go? So you change from automatisms and to routine to healing rituals, which is very important to have deeply rooted routines, which I call rituals, which serve our soul, our heart, and our mind as well.
Okay, but this is another theme
This is
we are
another
going to
theme.
treat. It will be one of your forthcoming books in Balboa, Healing Every Day.
Yes.
But this will be another topic I think we're going to talk about. So thank you very much for watching, for listening. Please think about your takeaways from this broadcast. We would be really happy to learn what are your takeaways. Please write them down below. And also communicate, give comments to the takeaways from the other colleagues in this group. Please share and get into contact with each other. Mm-hmm. This is the objective actually of Facebook, but it's also objective of our mission, of our vision on healing. Mm-hmm. Really, that we create a community, that we get into contact, and so please do it. And we also will be commenting and giving you comments back. Yes. So thank you very much. So create your vision and start to transform your future now.
And open your heart and start.
Thank you. Bye-bye.